Here's just a quick little video on understanding the slope of a line. A line is a two-dimensional object with a constant rate of increase or decrease, which is called the slope. We know that mathematics is a language and that algebraic equations may be thought of as sentences. One way to represent a line is called the slope-intercept form. Y is equal to mx plus b. All terms are real numbers. The slope is called m and the y-intercept is called b, and they're both constants. And x and y are variables. X is the independent variable and y is the dependent variable, which means that we choose x and we calculate y. So in this short little presentation, we'll first look at a couple of specific examples of lines, and then we'll examine the trend in slope through a dynamic structure, and then finally we'll look at the equation of a line and we'll relate it to the information contained in the graph. Here's a nice little picture of a line in real space. It's in Rocky Mountain National Park, and it's just a nice little linear trail which we're going to follow. Okay, our first example of a line is y is equal to 2x, so the slope is 2. The y-intercept is equal to 0. That means it goes through this point. If you look at the graph closely, you will see that for every one step x takes to the right, y takes 2 steps up. So I go from 0, 0 to 1, 2. Then I want to go right again, and then up 2 to the point 2, 4. So that line has a positive slope, and you'll notice that it's increasing. Here's a line with a negative slope. Y is equal to negative 2x. Again, y-intercept is equal to 0. And so this negative 2 slope tells us that for every change in x by 1 to the right, y moves down 2 units. So I go from 0, 0 to 1, negative 2, and then again I want to go right 1 and down 2, and I end up at the point 2, negative 4. So here's a little slider that gives us a visual on how when I change the slope from negative to positive, the line flips from decreasing to increasing. So right now I've got a negative slope on this line. The line is decreasing. This little slider is the value of the slope. It's still negative. When it gets about halfway through, it's going to change from negative to positive. It's getting close, and there it just changed to positive slope, and that means the line is increasing. So we want to end this demonstration by looking at the information contained in the formula for slope. So what is that formula? Well, for a line that goes through the points x1, y1 and x2, y2, the formula for a slope, here it is. It is m is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. That's the change in y values over the change in x values. So the ratio tells you how many units y moves up or down, depending on whether it's positive or negative, respectively, for a given increase in x. So here's an example. If the line passes through the points negative 1, negative 2, and 0, 0, we can compute the slope to be m is equal to negative 2 minus 0 divided by negative 1 minus 0. That reduces to 2 over 1, or 2. So the numerator tells you the change in y, and the denominator tells you the change in x. That means as x increases 1 unit to the right, y will move 2 units up. We can use that information to get a second point on this line. So starting with 0, 0, we want to move to the right 1 and up 2. So I want to add 1 to the x value, add 2 to the y value, and I end up at the point 1, 2. Okay, thanks a lot.